Hey everyone, how we doing? My name is Tim Pongres and this is Focus on Detailing. Today's video is all about shedding some light on garage goals. If you've clicked on this video, chances are you're either interested in grilling me for my lack of uploads lately, or you're interested in getting some Hexagrid lighting for yourself. I'm here to answer the question, is Hexagrid lighting worth it? 100% yes. Before we get too excited, I think a bit of a backstory is needed, but if you want to skip to the setup and installation of these lights, just skip to this part of the video. Throwback to over a year ago, and this shed had no power running to it. I had to run an extension lead from my older existing shed that obviously had power, running to this one up the side of the wall to my high bay lights. It didn't work well in theory or in practice, but it did the job for a few years. And as you can imagine, it didn't look all that professional.
Yeah, that's one fine looking barbecue pit. Why doesn't mine look like that?
To fix this, I did what anyone else would do and emptied some money out of my account, making a purchase from Wheelie Cool Stuff, and in no time at all, it was at my doorstep. Prompt, professional, and easily done. Highly recommend going through this business. Unfortunately, that's where the promptness stopped, as it sat on my floor for several months. I hesitated as once I started the setup, my shed would be mostly restricted, as floor space would be needed, and you may remember, no power, professionally anyway. Several months pass and many messages later from the supplier asking how it's coming along, and I thought I probably should put it together. Within the pack I had instructions and a heap of LED strip lights, only some shorter for the inner Hexagrid pattern and longer lengths for the perimeter, as well as separate bags of connecting elbows and angles, along with a few plugs set to be wired up. Setting up this was an absolute breeze, and I don't know why I avoided it for so long. Each light easily slotted into the appropriate spot to make for the eventual shape. Very few didn't want to play ball, but with a bit of a wiggle that eventually slot into place. The click and clacking of the connections can be therapeutic, but don't get ahead of yourself and mismanage the shape, as although putting it together is easy, removing them can be a little more challenging, having to lift a clip underneath to release. Fine, but a little awkward when the setup is getting bigger. In no time at all, it was done and surprisingly took up a bit of space. It was all good news, although with this setup, came one very big challenge. You see, when you install these lights, commonly they get installed in place, fixed progressively onto a flat ceiling. But here we needed to create a false ceiling to have them hanging from. But the other issue was, I still needed this workspace. Now these lights are extremely flimsy, to no fault of the manufacturer or supplier. That's just what you get with the lightweight skeleton-like lighting. So we wrapped them up to strengthen the setup and laid it against the wall. This is where it stayed for months upon months. Every so often I'd do something in an attempt to get the lights up, starting with brackets fixed on the frame of the shed. From here we had something for the lights to anchor to. With what seemed like excess support, we gently began lifting the lights in place, till we got about 2 meters off the ground before the flexing was just too uncomfortable to bear. So we tried more ropes and support. No luck. We tried more people to lift it. Also, no luck. But we had one more idea. If at first you don't succeed, try and get someone in that knows what they're doing. A family friend from before I was born was called in. We needed a fresh set of eyes, and this particular bloke was one of those people that if you want something done right, he can do it. In the meantime though, I excitedly awaited as my shed was finally getting power. Several power outlets installed, the plugs hardwired into the lights, and mind you, 2 separate ones were needed for the 2 separate setups, and finally a switch running from the wall to a junction on the ceiling, all set to be plugged into the newly installed lights. So back to the setup. Now pay attention, shed owners that want Hexagrid lighting, as this is where it all happens. Within 5 minutes my idea was scrapped, and an obvious but overlooked plan was set out. A work date was set, material was collected, and we had a new sense of confidence. To help with the explanation, I'll be using my crudely drawn shed made up in Revit. Might actually be a bit easier to show how it all came together, although this is the finished result, I will break it down. First of all, we had 4 lengths of top hats that were cut to size, running just past the end of the lights by about 200mm. They were to be fixed upside down, running from truss to truss. We had to be sure that the placement or centers of the top hats were aligned with the connectors within the lights so they could be screwed in. Easy for the outside, but the inner 2 runs had to not only be aligned with the connectors, but also be square and adjusted to compensate for the rake of the ceiling. Simply put, all 4 had to be flat for the lights to fix to. This was done by placing metal droppers that would pick up the inner 2 top hats. 4 in total, and all exactly the same size and placement. Already, this plan far superseded my goal of hanging the lights, as strength and rigidity was going to be far superior with this setup. With the droppers in place, all 4 top hats could now be screwed in. Very accurately done, so much so that we actually found the shed was not quite square. And with this knowledge, I was going to lose sleep. Now with 4 people, 4 step ladders and a heap of zip ties, we gently hoisted the lights. As one secured the lighting to this new creation, slowly cutting zip ties as it got more secure. Set in place but not complete. The perimeter light sat just past the build, the face of the top hat not being quite large enough to fit both connectors onto it. This was simply fixed by adding a small tag. It was screwed in and picked up the outside rather than squishing it in. Still not done though, as there was the perimeter connectors at either end that had to be picked up. Could have gotten away with it, but didn't seem right leaving it. A simple solution of placing 2 shorter lengths of the top hats between the 2 middle ones, enabling for yet another surface to be screwed into and further reinforcement. This absolutely demolished any idea of the hanging lights. No movement, no flex, and very professional looking. But for the moment of truth, they had been plugged in and all I had to do was flick the switch. And like the good Lord said, let there be light, and there was. The difference between the Hexagrid lighting to the high bay was phenomenal. While the high bays had direct light, the new setup illuminated the entire room in an even clear white light. From memory, these lights cost me around $1,300, which seems quite expensive, but trust me when I say they're worth it. There's a good reason as to why many businesses, be them car related or not, install these lights. They not only look professional, but their illumination in any room is poles apart, with the even spread and allowing for the crisp white visibility. Apart from the ceiling creation within my shed, this setup was very simple, although you will need an electrician to wire up the plugs. If you'd like to grab this kit or something similar, I've attached the link below. This particular business also supplies a wide range of floor tiles and wall decorations if you're keen on really dressing up your garage or shed. Now that'll do for this video. I hope you enjoyed this one and I've inspired you to potentially get these lights for yourself. Take care and I'll catch you all later.